Hello viewers, welcome to Ekam Academy. Is India going to become a member of another international organization in the energy domain? Means yes. So we are expected to become a member of International Energy Agency soon as a full-time member. So we are going to discuss about the same in this particular video. So without any further delay, let's start. Here you see the video components, why it is in use. We are going to look into this organization, International Energy Agency. We are also going to look into the reasons why now full-time membership is being offered to India. We'll also know about another organization, OECD, and also in this context of International Energy Agency's membership, we need to know about strategical petroleum oil reserves in India. And what is the difference between IEA and IEA? So many students will get confused between these two organizations. We'll understand the fundamental differences between these two, and also we'll look into the major reports released by International Energy Agency at the end. So stay tuned. Here we are going to look this in part of GS paper 2 mains in international organizations in the syllabus of IR. Now what is the context is, International Energy Agency in its 50th anniversary summit, which happened in the recent past only. So it has shown its willingness to accept India as a full-time member in International Energy Agency. So even Prime Minister of India also have addressed this meeting of, or you can say, of the 50th anniversary of International Energy Agency, and also have highlighted what is India's role and its prominence in energy sector. Okay, so in this slide we'll be looking into what is IEA. So first thing you have to understand is International Energy Agency, which is an intergovernmental organization established within OECD framework. So then what is OECD? OECD means Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. Okay, we'll look into this OECD in the later part of the class. Then you should understand what is the main motto of this IEA means. It was established in the wake of this 1973-74 oil crisis. What happened at that point of time is, there is a fourth Middle East war that was fought, that is also called Yom Kippur War, you call. So this is fought between Arab country and Israel at that point of time. So what happened, you know, most of you might have already known that oil is majorly located in the West Asian country, or you can say Middle East also. Persian Gulf region and the surrounding countries have huge potential of oil. At that point of time, when these Arab countries are fighting against Israel. So this is what happened in Fourth Middle East War. So here Arab countries, which are Muslim dominated countries, they are fighting against this Israel. So what happened at this point of time is, so these are all having huge oil potential, and some countries like, for example, US, Japan and European countries, they started supporting Israel in the war. So as they supported them, okay, so these countries, Arab countries, which are mainly the OPEC countries, oil, petroleum export countries, these countries started placing some embargoes on US, European Union and also the Japanese country. Okay, so at this point of time, what happened, as these countries are industrialized countries and they are hugely dependent on oil for their particular domestic and commercial purposes, at that point of time it led to huge demand of oil, and oil prices have soared to a historic high, you can say, at that point of time. So in this situation, this organization was born because they wanted to keep the oil prices in a sustainable way. It should not have a high and low points. It should not fluctuate between high and low, but it should have a sustainable way, so that developed countries will not bear that burn also, and developing countries also will not suffer from this particular injustice. So in this light only, this International Energy Agency was born. So what is the main motto is sustainable energy future for all. This is the main motto for which this was established. It was founded in 1974. With this year 2024, it celebrated its 50 years of existence. And then we'll understand how many members are there. It is having at present 31 members. If India joins as a full-time member, it is going to become the 32nd member. Then we'll understand further more details about it. So it is, for any country to become member of IEA, there are some criteria. First criteria is it should become a member of OECD. So OECD means Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. So this organization is nothing but, you can say, which are the countries which are supporting free market economy. You know what is free market economy, where there will be less government intervention. Some countries which believe in free market economy or have formed as a grouping called OECD. So for this IEA membership, it is mandatory that we should have OECD membership. But is India a member of OECD means no. India doesn't have membership in OECD. So we look into the other details. So what are the other criteria apart from the OECD membership is crude oil or this petroleum reserves should be there in an equivalent way of 90 days. That means at least 90 days reserves we should have in the domestic market. Okay, so that is one criteria. And another thing is demand restraint program, means we should restrict our demands at least by 10% every year. Okay, so with respect to oil consumption, then you can see legislation should be brought so that there should be coordinated emergency response measures will be there on the national basis. Means, for example, if there is any global oil crisis that happens in the world, so at that point of time legislations have to be placed in the domestic market so that there will be this whatever the emergency measures that are required to support other countries from this oil crisis and all, such things have to be already legislated in the country. Then you can see legislation and measures to ensure that oil companies under its jurisdiction will report information upon request. Means how much is the reserve, how much stock take they have, and all these things have to be subsequently reported to IEA. That is one main thing. Mandating a law, we should maintain this information and we have to share this information with IEA. Then measures are in place to ensure capability of this contributing share of IEA collective action. Means we should also ensure that measures will be in there so that this capability to contribute, okay, how much we are able to contribute to this IEA collectively, with respect to that also we should take some measures. So these are all the 5 criteria. Apart from OECD membership, one country to become IEA member, it should fulfill these conditions. Then India means, is it a member? Means yes, we have associate membership since 2017. Associate membership means we are not a full-time member, but we are associated with this organization just from outside. Okay, so you can say. Then what about another thing is, in the light of Paris Agreement, you know, every country has said that it is determined to reduce its climate goal and climate related injustice, and also we are trying to enhance our clean energy sources. As part of this IEA has a major role in Paris Agreement and its fulfilling of commitments. So you can see, apart from this, it is also a member of World Bank Group, and also it is supporting this UNEP, which is the environmental wing of UN. And you can know there are 3 E's for this IEA. What are those 3 E's means? First one is economic security, economic development, energy security, and environmental protection. So these are the 3 E's on which, 3 E pillars on which this International Energy Agency will function. Then what are the main activities it will do? Okay, then data collection and publishing. So how much is the oil levels, or oil, you can say what is the level of oil reserves in the world, and how much oil is getting imported and exported. With respect to that, policy guidance and advice and guidance also will be promoted. And emergency response coordination, it was formed in the wake of oil crisis only, you know, in that situation how to respond and how to coordinate among the member countries. Promoting energy efficiency. Energy efficiency is very important in the recent times. And supporting clean energy transition. It is also supporting in meeting the climate related ambitions like Paris Agreement, and also enhancing energy access and affordability. Energy access should be there for every country, and affordability. So these are the main activities in which it is functioning. Then what are the reasons why it is now accepting India as a full-time member? Means India is becoming influential in the global energy initiative, because you know we have sponsored so many initiatives like International Solar Alliance, or also in the recent times Biofuel Alliance. That means India has shown, because we did not contribute to historical carbon emissions, but at the same time we are taking a major part, or you can say major role, we are playing a major role in reducing these carbon emissions, also in promoting clean energy. So in this light, as India becomes world's 3rd largest consumer of oil also, so they are offering the present membership to India. Then you can see countries' demand for energy is also increasing in the recent times. So you know India is already world's 3rd largest consumer of oil, and it is importing 85% of its oil from different parts of the world. And you can see in improving energy security also, India has to play a major role, because India is the world's most populous country. So when we are having large population, so the people who are using this energy also, they should maintain it in a energy sufficient way. Like you can say energy savings and efficiency is also one main thing which should be taken care. Then as part of the Prime Minister's visit, okay, to this particular organization's 50th anniversary, so he made a speech on this. So what did he include in his speech is, you can see, rapid economic growth and renewable energy focus. As we are shifting, or in, India is becoming the fifth, it is now fifth largest economy in the world, and we are aspiring to become the third largest economy soon. So when we are having rapid economic growth, we should also focus on the renewable energy and the clean energy sources. And there should be low carbon emissions focused. At the same time, in spite of large population, we still are focusing on clean energy initiatives like National Green Hydrogen Mission we have. We are also promoting e-vehicles, electric vehicles, biofuels. We are promoting National Solar Alliance. And if you have remembered, Pradhan Mantri Suryodaya Yojana also was recently announced by the Prime Minister. In the light of this, and we're also committed to climate action. So this is what he mentioned in his speech, and also calling for inclusivity in India's contribution. So Sabka Saath Sabka Vikas, that is the main motto of this government, right? So in that context, he made the important contribution of India in the energy sector, and also collaboration in building a better future. So for all these things, he mentioned that India has a main role to play. That is why International Energy Agency is asking India to join as a full-time member. Then what about OECD? So OECD, as I told you, this is a grouping of 38 countries which support this free market economy. So you can see free market economies means, as I told you, they support that there should be very less state intervention and market should be free in means of production. Then it was formed in 1961. It is headquartered in Paris, France, and India is not a member. As India is not a member of OECD, which is one of the prerequisite that OECD members only can become IEA members. That is why it is a major block in the membership of IEA. Then what are the reports and indices launched by OECD means Government at Glance 2017 report, International Migration Outlook. This is one important thing you can remember, because every year UPSC is asking one question on reports. So you have to focus here. And OECD Better Life Index is also one of the major indices that was released by OECD. Now we'll understand what is this concept of strategic petroleum oil reserves. So as we are discussing about International Energy Agency, you have to remember that there is one condition to get membership is at least a 90-day equivalent of oil reserves have to be maintained by a country. That means we have to store oil, because sometimes in a situation where there is a global oil crisis, at the time, if the countries doesn't have equivalent storage capacity, at that time oil prices will rise. So that will be again translated in less oil demand, and it will always be a troublesome situation for global economy. That is why, as IEA mandated that there should be a level playing field for all the countries, there should be storage reserves that every country should maintain. In this context only, India has also maintained some strategic petroleum reserves in some parts. So where are they means, these are the reserves of commodities where oil will be reserved, will be placed. So as oil is flammable, you cannot store it open. So in underground caravans, this oil will be stored. So you will understand. So these, in terms of crisis, we can use this oil, unexpected events whenever this happens. And as India is the third largest consumer of crude, and it is importing 85% of crude oil from different countries, it is very much important to store this beforehand. Then which is the agency that is responsible for maintaining this is Indian Strategic Petroleum Reserve Limited. So it is maintaining these three reserves in three locations. One is Visakhapatnam in Andhra Pradesh, Mangalore in Karnataka, and Padur, this is in Karnataka. Okay, these are the three areas where we are maintaining, and these three strategic petroleum reserves are maintaining almost 9.5 days of national demand. Means in case of any crisis also, for 9.5 days, all over country, how much ever oil is required, that is maintained here in these three locations. Then we'll see. Apart from this, Indian oil marketing companies, means whichever the oil marketing companies are there, they're also maintaining their reserves for almost 64.5. If you add those 9.5, for totally 74 days we are having. But how much is the criteria mentioned by IEA? 90 days. So, but 90 days criteria is not fully met by India, but now we are able to store for 74 days. Then under phase 2, further, we are extending this to Chandikol, this is in Odisha, and Padur in Karnataka. So in these two places also, we are extending the strategic petroleum reserves. And What are the other countries which are having such setup is US, China and Japan. So like India, they are also having their strategic petroleum reserves in their own countries. Then here you can see what is the difference between IEA and International Energy Agency and International Atomic Energy Agency. So you should understand the fundamental difference between these two. Most of the students get confused here itself. So you have to know, this is International Energy Agency, this is International Atomic Energy Agency, which is also called Atoms for Peace and Development. This is another name of IEA. Then, is it within the ambit of UN? Means no, it is independent organization out of UN, but it is closely working with UN. Then here if you see, this is within the ambit of UN. This is the UN watchdog. And if you have remembered, when this Iran deal was signed, that is what we consider joint comprehensive plan of action. So where Iran, P5 and P5 plus 1 country, plus 1 is Germany, and you have permanent 5 countries, they have signed a nuclear deal, and under which this IAEA has been the watchdog, okay, with respect to Iran. So then you should know where is this headquartered. This is headquartered in Vienna, Austria. And this was also awarded Nobel Peace Prize in 2005 for its contributions in atomic level. Then what is the main thing is, it is dealing with atomic energy, that means nuclear energy and atomic energy domain here. And is India a member? Means India is not a member here and India is a member here. So these are the fundamental differences you should know between these two organizations. Like, International Court of Justice, International Criminal Court, you have similar type of organizations, but their domain and functioning is different. Same way here also, you should not get confused between these two. Then we'll understand what are the reports released by International Energy Agency. You can see World Energy Outlook, World Energy Balances, Energy Technology Perspectives, World Energy Investment Report, India Energy Outlook Report, World Energy Statistics and Net Zero by 2050. This is one important report in the recent times. UPSC can ask these type of questions. So these are all the reports released by International Energy Agency. Then yesterday's practice question, with reference to President's rule, consider the following statement. For one, President cannot impose President rule without the recommendation of the Governor. This statement is wrong. Then he can do on his own also. Then recommendation of the Governor is binding upon the President. No, this is also not binding on the President. So here neither 1 nor 2 is the answer for this question. Then coming to practice question, with reference to International Energy Agency, consider the following statements. First one, it was established based on the framework of Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD. IEA releases World Energy Outlook Report. India is a full-time member of IEA. So which of the following statements are correct? Answer among the given options in the comment section. Then what is the main question? The International Energy Agency mission aims for both energy security and sustainability. How does the agency navigate potential conflicts between these goals, and particularly for the member countries with diverse energy needs and priorities? Can it truly achieve the both objectives without compromising one for the other? So this is what the main question for practice on the International Energy Agency. Now, as we have come to the end of the video, today we have discussed about, is India going to get full-time membership in International Energy Agency? What is the background in which light this International Energy Agency was established? We also have discussed about OECD, and also we have discussed about what is the difference between International Energy Agency and International Atomic Energy Agency, and what is the criteria to get membership in IEA. So these are all the things we have discussed as part of this video. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.